Artificial intelligence is making these massive decisions about our lives pretty much every single day. But what happens when those decisions go wrong? And we ask that one simple, totally fundamental question: why?
Okay, just imagine this for a second. You've applied for the mortgage on your absolute dream home. Or maybe it's that job application you poured your heart into, the one that to change everything. You're waiting, and then an email pops up. It's a no. It's a rejection. So naturally, you ask for a reason. You just want to know what went wrong, right?
And this is the answer you get. The computer just said no. I mean, how chilling is that? It's frustrating, and honestly, it's becoming a way more common response in our automated world. A huge, life-altering decision was just made about you, and nobody can tell you how or why.
And let's be clear, the stakes here are incredibly high. We're not talking about small stuff. We are talking about systems that decide who gets a loan, who gets a job, or even who gets a potentially life-saving medical treatment. In those cases, the computer said no is just, it's never a good enough answer.
So that brings us to the real heart of the problem. Why is this even happening? I mean, why can't these super sophisticated, brilliant AI systems just explain their own thinking? Well, to get that, we need to take a peek inside what everyone calls the black box. So the tech that's usually running the show is something called a deep neural network. The best way to think about it is like a digital brain with millions, even billions of interconnected little nodes. It learns by churning through enormous amounts of data, constantly tweaking its own connections, and it ends up creating this web of logic that is so ridiculously complex that, well, tracing a single decision back through it becomes practically impossible, even for the people who built it. And that, right there, is the central challenge we are facing with modern AI. It's what we call the black box problem. You can feed data in one end, you get a decision out the other, but what happens in the middle? It's a total mystery. For a while, that mystery seemed, well, pretty unsolvable. But what if we could actually build a key to unlock that box? What if we could force the AI to show its work? Well, that's the whole idea behind a pretty revolutionary new field. It's called Explainable AI, or XAI for short. And look, this isn't about making the AI weaker or dumber. It's about building a kind of translator, a set of tools that can go in, analyze the AI's tangled logic, and then spit out a clear, human-friendly explanation for why it did what it did. So, how does this actually work in practice? It's actually pretty elegant. Okay, step one. The black box AI makes a decision. Let's say it denies a loan. Then, step two, an XAI tool dives into that crazy complex logic to figure out which factors were the most important. And finally, step three, it gives you a clear explanation. Something like, the loan was denied because of a low credit score and a high debt-to-income ratio. See? Simple. You can understand it, and you can actually do something with that information.
Now, to really get the huge difference XAI makes, I've got this fantastic metaphor that just makes it all click.
This just captures it perfectly. A standard opaque AI is like a magic 8-ball. You ask it a question, shake it up, and it just gives you an answer. Signs point to S. You have no clue how it got there, you just have to trust it. But an explainable AI, that's like a great math teacher. They don't just want the final answer, they want you to show your work. They grade you on the process, because they know that's how you actually learn and improve. This is the massive leap from just blind faith to genuine understanding. And this whole thing is so much bigger than just creating better technology. This is really about building a better, fairer society. It's about our fundamental rights in an age where everything is becoming automated. So why is this so absolutely critical? Well, first off, it's about trust. It's just that simple. We can't and we shouldn't rely on systems that we can't understand. It's also about fairness and ethics. Explainability lets us peek under the hood and check for hidden biases to make sure these systems are working fairly for everyone. And finally, it's about accountability. When things go wrong, and they will, getting an explanation is the very first step to making things right. Really, it all just boils down to this one powerful idea. As we hand over more and more of our world to these automated systems, trust becomes the absolute foundation that makes it all work. And you simply cannot have trust without transparency. You can't have trust without an explanation. And that leaves us with a really important thought. As these black boxes become the gatekeepers to more and more opportunities in our lives, jobs, loans, you name it, should you have a legal right to an explanation when the computer says no? It's a big question, and it's one we all really need to start asking.